In this lesson, we're going to learn another really cool thing. As you remember, on the left-hand side, you've got this nice little set of tools for you, and you can float it. You can actually attach it to the left. There it is. See how it kind of merges into a blue? And you can keep it there. But on this side, you've got what is known as palettes. And palettes can also be found in the Windows menu. You see here where it says layers, okay, and then you see where it says history and actions, okay. There we have it right there. You can find the same thing here. There's layers, okay, right above it is history, and then there is actions way up there listed all in alphabetical order. And all these things, all these items here can be considered palettes. And all I got to do is click on one, like say character, and there is the characters palette right below. And let me see if I can move that over. Whoops, it kind of separated there. But that's the whole point of this lesson right here. So there it is right there. It kind of floats. I'll go ahead and click on the X on the upper left to make it disappear. So, when you first open up Photoshop for the first time, you may see something like this. Let me go ahead and go to Window. Let's go to Workspace, and then let's go down to Essentials. There it is right there. Now, you might have this colossal array of really cool palettes that has different kind of purposes, and well, you can keep them if you like, but me, I don't like this kind of clutter. I like openness, I like space, I like kind of like my mind to, not really look subconsciously at all this. So I'm going to go to here, and if you notice there, it says Mr. Hague. If I go to Window Workspace, you'll see that it'll say Mr. Hague, and when I click there, it goes back to where I want it to be. Just 3 palettes. I actually only want 2, but that being the layers and history, because the layers and the history are the 2 palettes that you'll be using the most. Alright, so how do I go from here all the way to here, but going back to where I wanted to? Well, let me show you how to handle palettes. Well, let's go ahead and start on the very top up here. Okay, if you notice, you've got color, swatches, gradients, and every time you click on one of these palettes, any palette that's highlighted, swatches, okay, if you notice right here, properties, layers, libraries, and I go to Window, you'll notice that the check marks are next to the palettes that are highlighted. There's layers, there's libraries, there's properties, swatches, and let's not worry about this. Serves as a different functionality. Not worry about. It's just from this point forward, in between these 2 lines here, that we worry about. Alright, so how do we clean this all up? Well, first of all, there is this little icon over here called, well, they call it the hamburger icon. Not sure why. I guess it's because well, it looks like a hamburger, I suppose. So I click on this. Alright, and let me see. I guess I have to move it in because I'm noticing that you won't be able to see it. There it is right there. And if you notice, it'll say Close Tab Group. Alright, so let's go ahead and close the tab group. Notice the whole thing is gone. And you might say, okay, well, I can do the same thing for everyone. Well, before you do that, make sure that you find the 2 palettes that you're going to be used. Make sure you find the 2 palettes that you're going to be using the most. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select the layers palette. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on it. Notice how it changes color. I press and hold the mouse and I drag it out. There it goes. There it is all by itself. Okay, and now where is the history palette? Well, if I go to Window and I click on history, well, there it is, my friends. But it's also a part of here. If I move the cursor here, there is history. Okay, I click on it, there it is right there. I drag it out, Okay, and I'm just going to leave it there for now. And I can actually drag all of these things out. See, I'm going to click on paths here, drag it out, and then press the X to get rid of. I click on channels, drag it out, and press the X to get rid of that. Or I can cheat and go to the hamburger icon, click on close tab group, and that whole thing is gone. Now, I can do the same thing over here. I can go ahead and click on, ooh, look at that color, beautiful. So, I'm going to click out, click and drag. Now, before I do any of that, before I get rid of patterns, I'm going to take the history palette and I'm going to guide it up here and I am going to merge it. Notice the blue appears? Look at that, there it is. And I'm going to do the same with the layers palette. Guide it up here and look at that, beautiful, nice. And that's all I really want. Now I'm going to take patterns, click, drag out, press the X, it's gone. And there I have it, my history and my layers palette. And that's all I really need. So now you might ask, okay, how do I maintain this workspace? Because I'll tell you, as soon as you close Photoshop and you open it up again, you might see the crazy Essentials workspace. Well, let's go ahead and show you what you can do. You can go now and save this as your own workspace. If you notice, I've already saved a couple of workspaces. If I go to Window, Workspace, and go to Mr. Hague and Hague, just plain Hague, okay, I'll get back to exactly here. So what I'm going to do is have you create your own workspace if you're satisfied with this arrangement. So what you're going to do is you go to Window, Workspace, and then you're going to look for New Workspace. See how it's highlighted in red? New Workspace. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on this and it'll say Untitled, and all you got to do is name it. And I'm going to go ahead and call this Example WS Workspace. Okay, let's keep it there. And you can of course name it based on your last name. You can name it to whatever you like. You may want to name it according to the work you're doing. For example, you might want to name it Web if you have a specific web space or workspace for websites. If you want to have a workspace specific for websites or a workspace specific for graphics or video work, you can name it whatever you like. You can have as many workspaces as you like. So I'm not going to bother with these. It's not a big deal. And I'm just going to go ahead and save it. All right. So now I am going to look Workspace, and there it is, Example. So if I go to Essentials, okay, so now that we went ahead and create the new example web space, so there you see example underscore WS. What if I want to add another one? Okay, and another palette here. Well, another one that's really good is brushes. So let's go ahead and click on brushes. There we have it, and as you can see, it's got two really important brush palettes. One is brushes and brush settings, and we'll go into that soon enough. What I can do is actually go ahead and I can have it floating, or what I can do is somehow merge it into this. Now it's kind of hard, but you notice how when my mouse cursor is merging into the left, voila, there it is. Or you may want to keep it in the bottom part. Okay, so now what if I wanted to add another set of palettes over here? Well, let me show you. Let's go to Window, and let's go down to say Brushes. Okay, brushes are a rather important palette, which we'll be learning later. So if I click on Brushes, let me show you some of the really cool things. Alright, so right now it's down here. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to go ahead and grab it and take it out. Okay. Okay, so we've got brushes sitting right here and it's kind of floating. And well, we can do several things with it. First of all, I can grab this and put it right up here. You see now, let your cursor do the talking. In other words, keep an eye on where your cursor is, not where the palette is. So if I go ahead and click on this, I notice where the blue appears. Notice it aligns with where the mouse is. And if I click and release over there where the mouse is highlighting the blue area, I'm going to let go. Look what happens. Okay, that's where it ends up. Now I can go ahead and click on this area right here and drag it out again and let it float. And you can actually let all the palettes float if you like. What if I want to appear right here? Well, that's easy. I can just go ahead and click. And on the very top there, see? There it is. Now I got 4 palettes up there. And pretty much it's kind of stuck together at this point. I can't just, move the entire, I can't just move the brush and the brushes palette out. So I'm just going to click out of here and kind of merge this together. There it is. What if I wanted to appear on the bottom part? Well, watch this. Again, eyes on the cursor. Click. Okay. Okay, let's click. And I think I'm running out of space here. So in that case, what I'm going to have to do is move this up a little bit, okay? That way it gives me a little bit more space. And now watch what I do. Okay, there. You see how the blue line appears? Let go. There you have it. And I go ahead and resize it. Well, that was a little difficult, wouldn't you say? Well, let's do that again, only this time a little easier way. Okay, so I'm going to click on this area right here and click out. Now watch what I do. You notice that we have 2 arrows over here. That is called the collapse to icons. Okay, if I click on this, notice what happens. It's a lot easier to move around. So now this way I can just go ahead and click, drag to the bottom. Notice I don't have to adjust Photoshop and let go. There it is. Okay, let me go ahead and take this out again. Let me collapse it again. And I can actually go ahead and put it right here. Look at that. And it comes in icons. In fact, you can click history and you can all have it as collapsible icons. See there? Now, of course, I'd like to have layers on top and history on top. There it is right there. And if I click, there it is. It appears right there. See that? Pretty cool, I think. So whichever way you want, and for me, I kind of like it out. Okay, and I want to keep it so that I don't have any other palettes besides history and layers. Once again, I can go ahead and just keep it the way it is. Okay, but say I do want to have a palette specifically with the brush tools. Let me go back and do it again. Here's my brushes, and there's another brush palette there. Brush settings, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this down. I'm going to collapse this, and I'm going to put it right here. There it is. And what if I like this workspace? I can have my layers, I can have my history. Okay, I don't need much space. This is good enough right here. And maybe I want to put in some, well, let's put a paragraph palette there. There it is right there. Okay, we're all going to need this eventually. And instead of it being in the, well, look at this. It says character and paragraph. It's kind of floating. Well, I can go ahead and collapse that and put it right there. There it is. So now I got brushes, brush settings, character, paragraph, and I've got my 2 larger palettes, the layers and the history all together. Let's go ahead and save this one. We'll call it brushes. Let's go ahead and go to Window, Workspace, New Workspace, and let's just call it brushes. And press save. There you have it. Okay, so now I can go Window, Workspace, Mr. Hague, and simply that's what appears. I can go to Windows, Workspace, Brushes. There you have it. Whichever is easiest for you to work with. Hope you enjoyed this. Okay, let's go on to the next lesson.